Hello, Penguin 4. Ever since we have a written test right on Wednesday, so let's try to review chapter 3 and chapter 4 this week. Okay, so in chapter 3, we talk about verb ing, verb ed, people's feelings, and description, right? Describing a person's uh, character or a thing. Okay, so everyone said disappointing, amazing, realistic, frightening, confusing, awful, weird, and embarrassing. Very good. So mm, I believe you still remember this part, right? The book is better than the movie, so the movie isn't as good as the book. But if we say the book isn't as good as the movie, so the movie is better than the book, right? The movie is better than the book. In A and B, A to B, B to A, and then isn't to is to isn't, yes to no, no to yes, positive to negative, negative to positive, and better than, than, more than, as good as, not as good as, not as good as, um, not as tall as him, so he is taller than I, right? Uh, not Elton is not as isn't as thin as teacher who? Teacher Lucy, and teacher Lucy is thinner than Elton, right? So the book isn't as frightening as the movie. The movie is more frightening than the book, right? Yes. So, just read your book very carefully. Let's just read it. So, the movie isn't as good as the book. The book is better than the movie. I think the movie is better than the book, but the movie is more frightening. The movie is more frightening than the book, so the book isn't as frightening as the movie. The dream is more amazing in the movie, which means the dream isn't as amazing in the book. The movie was disappointing, or the plot was awful. The movie wasn't as exciting as the book. The book was more exciting than the movie to Pablo, right? How about the characters? The characters in the book aren't as realistic as the characters in the movies. Well, which means the characters in the movie are more realistic than the characters in the book. Great. Character, the people from a movie, the people in a book, right? The movie tells about a young girl's amazing dream. Alice's dream takes place in an imaginary world called Wonderland. She meets the same weird and wonderful characters that she meets in the book, and she has the same awesome adventures. The movie isn't as confusing as the book by Lewis Carroll because the plot is easier to follow. Right. So, Alice in Wonderland, we need to read about the story again? I don't think so, to save time. And I know some of you even want to go playing basketball together tomorrow. So let's do it quickly. Last night, Yasmin had a dream. She dreamed that she could fly. But, although it was an awesome dream, she felt disappointed when she woke up, right? She was disappointed. Why? Why was she disappointed? Uh, it's always disappointing when you wake up from a good dream, right? But for Angelo, Angelo dreamed about a monster. Ah, the dream is boring. I heard it before, okay? Yasmin was bored with the dream because she had heard it before. But Scarlett wasn't bored. Scarlett was interested in the dream because she didn't hear it. She hadn't heard it before. That's why she asked if Angela was frightened in the dream. The monster was really frightening, ugly, right? And the dream was interesting to Scarlett. But Angelo felt embarrassed because he was shouting, "Mommy, mommy, help!" when he woke up, right? And that's why people thought he was embarrassing. Uh, Hamish thought, "Oh, you are so embarrassing." And Scarlett thought, "Yes, it's kind of embarrassing to wake up in this way, right?" So when you lie down, when you close your eyes, do we fall asleep easily or do we stay awake counting sheep? Many people take a teddy bear to bed with them. Some people need a special pillow. Some people need a special item so they could fall asleep easily. Uh, so, are you frightened of the dark or do you stay up late? What do you do when you cannot fall asleep? Why do we talk about sleep? Sleep is very important for our health. Uh, Everybody has his or her own body clock to make him stay awake in the day and we sleep at night. Uh, we need around 7 to 9 hours of sleep every day, right? It's a better idea for us to have more than 8 hours of sleep. And do you stay up late or do you go to bed early? Do you need a special alarm clock to wake you up? Do you wake up when the alarm goes off, or do you wake up after it? Right. These are very interesting questions, right? Make sure you try to read everything carefully. So, um, how about let's jump to Unit 4, Chapter 4. Ever since we just reviewed chapter 3 for the test before, right? Chapter 4. So for those people who take a train, who take a bus or a hot air balloon, these are passengers, right? And when we go traveling, we try to enjoy the view, right? And when we land, it means to get to the ground. So in chapter 4, we use ismr verb ing to replace ismr going to verb. For future, we use present progressive ismr verb ing for future meaning, for a planned schedule, a, a planned future, a scheduled future, like an itinerary, right? Um, this is why um, in the reader we just use a lot of ismr verb ing sentences, a lot of present progressive sentences for future meaning. For example, for this family, they're very sure these are the things they are going to do in New York when they visit New York. In day one, they're going to do this. In day two, they're going to do that. This is why we say they are flying to New York. They are taking off at 7 a.m. They are landing at 12:15. They are visiting the Statue of Liberty. They are taking a helicopter flight. They are going to the zoo. They are going shopping. They are visiting the Empire State Building, right? Very good. So, how about let's also check out the reader. Uh, it's a long comics, but it's an itinerary. Okay, it's an itinerary. So, Dr. Samuel Ferguson just asked, Richard, this is Richard, what are you doing for your vacation? I'm simply hanging out at home. What do you want to do? Just stay at home. Okay, so what are you doing? I am hanging out at home. Oh, no, 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 no. You are not staying at home. You are coming with us. Okay, well, you're coming with me. We are going on a trip, right? So, where are they going? Here is the itinerary. Ever since it says itinerary, means it's scheduled, it's planned. They are living in the spring. They're taking off from the island of Zanzibar. They're uh, flying west in a hot air balloon. They're flying to Lake Chad. They are going to Timbuktu. Um, and they are doing these things in a hot air balloon. They are traveling in a hot air balloon. But they are going to they are going to find the source of the Nile. Why do we say they are going to find the source of the Nile? In the class, we talk about it because at that time, people didn't really know where the source of the Nile was. People didn't know exactly where it was. So they're going to find it, although they don't know where they didn't know where it was, right? So, but on that day, Joe, the little boy, the teenager, actually just snapped into the basket of the hot air balloon and he just made his trip, right? And look at this. The birds were actually attacking. So the birds were attacking the balloon. It was dangerous. This is why they started to throw away the food or uh, unnecessary things to lower the weight of the hot air balloon, right? Uh, then they don't fall so fast. But to make the basket lighter, the boy Joe actually made a decision. He decided to, as they threw the sandbags to make it lighter, he actually jumped into the river, right? So, and they needed to fix the balloon. Uh, they needed to sleep right in the field. So, but they didn't know where Joe was. Joe was swimming in the river full of crocodiles. He was sleeping in a tree full of snakes. And finally, he recognized the hot air balloon flying again, and this is why he was running. He was running. He's running in the same direction as the wind, right? but it wasn't fast enough because the wind was too strong. And this is why he tried to find a is that a camel? A camel. So he just ran with a camel in the field. Wow, it's hard to imagine, right? So the camel was running quite fast, and the doctor threw the rope, and he got back to the hot air balloon. Right, they went back home, and this is why the as the assistant Richard said, "I'm not going on any more of your adventures. I am staying home for my holiday." Well, this is why quite interesting, huh? So, anyone, anybody, somebody, someone, anything. I think this is quite easy for you. After reading that, I believe you can answer it quite easily. So, has anyone here ever been in a hot air balloon? No, but I would love to do something exciting like that. Yasmin would like to, right? Rufus just asked Yasmin if she knew anything about the Montgolfier brothers. Who are the Montgolfier brothers? Um, Actually, Yasmin didn't know anything about the Montgolfier brothers, right? Who are the Montgolfier brothers? They invented the hot air balloon in 1783. So, did anyone travel in the first hot air balloon? The first passengers were a sheep, a chicken, and a duck. Everyone was amazed. No one believed that the flight was possible, right? And how does Rufus know everything? Does he have anything in his hand? He said, "No, nothing. There's nothing in my hand." No, actually, there's something in his hand. It was a book. He said, "Oh, somebody just gave me a book about balloons." Somebody, someone, anyone, right? So it's quite easy. And can we just read it very quickly? I'm leaving tomorrow. I'm going on a trip. I'm traveling by airplane, balloon, train, ship. We have 7 continents in the world: Asia, Africa, Europe, Australia, North America, South America, Antarctica. These are the 7 continents in the world. Continent, right? So the boy wants to visit every continent in the world, and he's going around the world with a compass and a map. So he's taking his passport in his backpack, and he wants to travel around the world. There's somewhere, uh, but nowhere is like a home. Okay, uh, this house is his home. Okay, interesting. Turtles, Atlantic ring turtles. Every 2 to 3 years, Atlantic green turtles leave their homes in Brazil in South America. They leave Brazil, they travel to the Ascension Island to the east. They swim for over more than 2,000 kilometers. And Ascension Island is in the south part of the Atlantic Ocean. Does anyone know for sure how they find their way? No, no one knows for sure how they find their way, right? They might have a natural, and they might have a natural compass inside their body, like a magnetic uh, signifier, right? The journey takes several months, and the turtles do not eat anything along these several months. Some turtles actually died on the way because they may choke on a plastic bag, or some fishermen just caught them illegally, right? The survivors arrived at the Ascension Island, and at night when it's dark, the females lay the eggs. One female may lay about 100 eggs in the beach, and they buried the eggs in the nest in the sand, and the adult just swim back to Brazil. They leave the eggs right in the beach. But while the eggs were waiting to hatch, birds, animals might try to eat the eggs. And it takes 2 months for the remaining eggs to hatch, right? And after the eggs hatch, the tiny little turtles may try to run to the beach. How do they find a way to the beach, to the ocean? They follow the light of the moonlight. This is why during the hatching season, we highly recommend those people who drive at night turn down, even turn off the light, their headlight, to save the turtles. They follow the light of the moon, and on the way to the ocean, many of the turtles get lost because they're lights up by the beach, right? Humans' house or humans' cars, or some crabs and birds might eat them. Also, human people could possibly catch turtles illegally again to make turtle soup or make turtle jewelry, right, from the shells. So the survivors, they find the food in the water, and they grow and they swim west another 2,000 meters. And when they grow up a few years later, the survivors, they're going to swim back to the island where the journey begins. It's quite interesting, right? So just like salmons or many different birds have this kind of habit. So please make sure you try to read the grammar booster, exam booster by yourself. We don't plan to spend even more time on this, and also the activity book and your vocabulary list. Written test is right on Wednesday, spelling right on Friday, and I'll be seeing you right on Monday. Do I see you at the park for basketball game tomorrow? I'm not quite sure. Anyway, have a nice weekend then. Good luck.